What's up everyone, welcome to Kaiser channel. Today we'll be talking about the upcoming lineups from the Metal Build series that Bandai has released it on their Tamashii Nation 2020. Now they have actually released a lot of pictures, not only the Metal Build series but other series as well, such as the Metal Robot Tamashii and also other series as well. So I'll include the links in the description below so you guys can check it out on your own. So we're gonna go through them and check out if they're actually worth the wait or we should just skip them as a whole. Now before we start, just a word of disclaimer is that all of these are my opinions and they're based on information that we have at this point of making the videos. So as time progresses and there's more information that's released, maybe my views on each of the products might change as well. So just take note on that. So without further ado, let us get started. So starting with the first picture you have is the 10th anniversary for the Metal Build, and they have actually 4 panels that's telling you that their plans up ahead for the Metal Build series. Now I'm going to talk about these panels just later on in the videos. I'm not going to touch them into too much right now because there's actually some hidden message in there that I want to talk about. So I'm going to get to that later. But what I'm going to focus right now is on the demo models that's underneath it. As you can see from the left, it's actually the Lujimaru. Just as the panel has hinted, they're gonna expand their Metal Build universe and not just focusing on the Gundam series. And you have this demo kit for the Lujimaru from the Wataru series, which is actually pretty big if you compare it to the Strike Gundam that's next to it. We all know the Strike Gundam how tall it is, but given that the Lujimaru is almost as high as the Strike Gundam, we can actually imagine this is gonna be really big. Now personally, I'm not sure how well Lujimaru would be in the Metal Build series, considering the fact that by their display right here that we've seen so far, I'm not sure how much of the metal components will be in there. And just by the photo, I'm not seeing too much. Unless all the gold components right here are metal as well. So at this moment, I'm pretty skeptical on this. So I will have to see when they have more information on this. So moving along, we have is the Strike Gundam. Now this Strike Gundam, basically from what I've noticed, is that it's exactly the same as what we have before on the alternative version, except this time we have even less decals, if not the same. But not only that, he's actually holding the Grand Slam sword, which is pretty sick looking. But if Bandai's gonna re-release the Strike Gundam with only an additional sword, I'm not sure how well people's gonna accept it, because at least for me, I'm not taking it too well already, because consider this one will be their 3rd edition of the Strike Gundam with minimal changes overall. Now if you look closely, there's actually a backpack I believe that's come with this new set. That's why you can see the shield is able to mount at the back. As I recall, there's actually none of this gimmick on the previous 2 Strike that's been released. Next we have is the Justice Gundam. Now this Justice Gundam looks actually amazing and it's basically on par of the Freedom 2.0, and I don't really have anything negative so far on it other than the fact that you can see at the backpack there's actually a transparent display arm that's supporting the backpack. What I believe is that the backpack is actually gonna be quite heavy, that the overall weight distribution is going to weigh more on the backpack, and that's why you need an additional display arm to support the weight of it. And that's the only thing I'm worried about. As you can see on the main display stand for this Justice, it's actually tilted backwards quite a bit. So that's the thing I worry about as of now. But aside from that, it looks pretty amazing. So this one's definitely on the list, unlike the Strike Gundam just now that basically can be forgotten. Next we have is the Double Gundam 7 Sword Inspection. Now this Gundam comes from the side stories from the Double series, and what basically this is that it's only a recolored of the Double 7 Sword. Now if you ask me if I should wait for this, it's that if I am not hosting a video review channel, I'm most likely going to skip this one. However, as a reviewer, I do want to see how much of this it's different from the previous 007 sword. If there's actually any parts that they actually improved on, or it's just a matter of recoloring. So that's something that I'm gonna be quite interested in. So I personally would get this one, but for you guys, you might want to put on hold on it unless we have more information that there's more gimmicks to it. Otherwise, it's just basically a recoloring. Last we have is the Dynamis Repair 3. Now this Dynamis Repair 3, we've seen it in the 2019 where they actually displayed this demo model along with the XGL Repair 4. So we finally get to see that it's coming again, and hopefully if they have an actual release date that we can anticipate more on this. And just by the picture, it actually looks pretty cool. There seems to be a lot of gimmicks that involves, and it looks pretty detailed. So this one's another one that I'm definitely looking forward to. And then next we have is the Seed Destiny. Basically you have is the Destiny Gundam, which is the Soul Red version, and also the Strike Freedom Soul Blue version, both with their plasma wings. And this plasma wing, as you can see, or most of you would know, is that there is actually some shiny rainbow colored that's built into it, which is totally different from the previous plasma wings. Now how much of it is different, we have no idea. We have to get our hands on one of those before we can actually do any comparison. And then next we have is the Seed Astray, which we can see on the left is the gold frame Amatsuhana, which I've done a review on. But next to that is what we should focusing on. This is actually the Amatsumina, which it says it's the Tenku no Ojo version, which is the Empress of the Sky. And we can see that there's actually quite a difference from the Hana version or even the previous Mina version. Now I did do a lookup on what this is actually based off of, but there's actually not much information outside on the internet other than the fact that this is shown in the third volume of the Empress of the Sky manga. So according to the information there is that this gold frame actually removed the arms that they've taken in Blitz and put on the original Astray arms. And then also on the shield/beam rifle, it's actually modified from that. The Totsuka no Tsurugi, you can actually mount it onto the shield, which the previous two gold frame are unable to do. So that's something new on it. And what I find the most amazing and exciting is that on the left arm, you can see the beam effect on the spear weapon Okitsu no Kagami. And if you watched my review on the Hana version, you will know that this weapon actually has a beam effect, or should have the beam effect in the story when it splits open, becoming the beam shield. So definitely excited that they've included that in this new Mina version. But I've got a question, is that if you did thought of the beam effect on this one, why didn't you include it on the Hana version? It would have been so much better. But aside from that, the overall it's a matte black. I think Bandai is going all in matte color nowadays, and you'll know why when we go on to the next couple ones. You'll find that seems to be the tradition they're following through instead of using a gloss color. And then moving along, we have is the Alternative Strike series, which basically telling us that there's a multiple option set and also machines that's going to be released for the Alternative Strike series. Starting first, we have is the metal build low and green launcher, and actually it looks pretty amazing, it looks pretty nice. And there's another gimmick that on the next picture we've seen is with the strike, where the low and green launcher can be split into two pieces and be put on the sides of the waist. So this low and green launcher is definitely on my list. I think it would look pretty awesome if you connect this with the Lightning Strike pack. So not sure if it's possible because I can't tell how they connect it, but if it's possible, I'm definitely gonna put it on with the Lightning Strike pack, where you have it on top and then you have the low and green cannon on the side. It's gonna look amazing. As well as the Lightning Striker, I've already pre-ordered mine. Not sure if you guys did, but it looks amazing with the information and seems to have quite a lot of gimmicks onto it. So definitely this one is a must get as well. And then next we have is the Metal Build official. It's the Gundam Astray Red Dragon. Now this Gundam Astray Red Dragon, from what I can see, is that the overall body seems to be the same as the one that they released for the alternative version, the red frame. Even to the shoulder point, you can see that they used exactly the same with the top. Basically, I'm guessing that it can be taken off as well. But the decal seems to be different. The head is totally different. And there's only one set of katana. And at the back, you can see is the 3 camouflage set that's connected. You can see it barely that the backpack that's holding onto it seems to be quite small because you can't see much of it being covered by the red frame itself. So balance-wise, I think it's going to be doing a lot better than the patched-up version that I did with the flight unit. But you can see also the connector to the camouflage. It's actually a little bit different from the one that we've been seeing the design seems to be pretty specific for the Red Dragon itself. So this one, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get it because I do love the Astray Red Dragon. So this one's on my list. And now we're moving to the last one. It's the Gundam F91, which everyone should have known by now that they're re-releasing the F91 with the MSV option set all together as one bundle. Another major difference with this is that they're now going with the matte white instead of the gloss. Like I said before, Bandai seems to be going with this tradition, ditching the entire gloss paint and focusing only on the matte coloring. I'm not sure the reason for that, maybe because the gloss is easy to scratch and put fingerprints on it. Not that the matte is anything bad, but I personally just prefer the gloss color over matte coloring. Now from basically what I've seen is that overall the coloring for the F91, it's all matte color. The blue seems to be a matte color as well, doesn't look too much like a metallic color from the picture that they are given. Aside from that, there seems to be not a lot of difference from the F91 that they released. So for this one, if you own the original F91, I think you can actually put on hold on this and skip this one as a whole. Alright, and that's it for going through the demo videos. Now we're going back to on the panels because there's some hidden message that I want to get through, which I find interesting. So starting off from the right, we have is the Accelerated Universe Century. Basically what this means is that they're going to expand their universe to the UC timeline. And this is interesting because on the panel, they have the line art for a mecha, which many of us already can identify this to be the High New Gundam. Especially if you can recognize the emblem on that, that's the High New Gundam's emblem. This is actually pretty interesting, so I'm definitely waiting to see how they're gonna pull this off as an overall design as well as a metal build with the metal components. So definitely this is gonna be worth waiting for. So next we have is the Gundam 00 next stage, basically telling us that they're going to expand their universe with the 00 series. And hopefully they're going to do that by releasing the other Gundams that's from the first and second series, such as the Dynamis, Kyrios, and also the Virtual, and etc. But what we've seen here on the panel line art is that what this is the GN arm. Some of you might remember that they've actually released a demo model in 2019 with the GM arms and Ixia on it, which looks absolutely amazing. And here with the lineup that's supporting this as well. On the top half of it, it's basically the side view of it, and on the bottom half, it's the top view of it. So we're gonna see a lot more on this if they actually released it. Now I personally is very excited with the GN arms. It's gonna be a massive big metal build series, but at the same time I'm very conscious of how much they're gonna price this is, because if you've seen the size of it back in 2019 pictures, this thing is not going to be a joke. This thing is huge, but I am very interested in the whole entire transformational gimmicks as well as how much other smaller gimmicks that might have. And of course, the ability to dock the Ixia on it is another thing itself. And not only that, but if you know from the series is that the GM arms, there's actually two, one for the Ixia and one for the Dynamis. So if they're gonna release the Dynamis metal build, the first one, not the Repair 3, they're most likely gonna release the GN arms for the Dynamis as well. And that's going to be amazing with the two GM arms to display it. That's one hell of a display. So definitely interested in this one. Moving along, we have the Seed next stage. There's actually not much to it. The line art's actually the Justice Gundam itself, so definitely know that they're going to make Infinity Justice, and so we can definitely wait for that. And lastly, we have is the Expand Metal Build universe. Now, I did briefly mention they're gonna first release the Lujimaru that they have the display model as. But in the line art in the panel itself, you can identify the one on the top to be the Mazinga Zero. And also the one underneath it is the Shin Geta robot. Now both of these are quite interesting ideas that they're going to pull off, because if you all remember, Metal Build did try to attempt to release the Mazinga in the Metal Build, but unfortunately they weren't well received. So it's going to be interesting how they're going to take on the Mazinga Zero and also the Shin Geta robot. So another thing that's hidden inside is that on the very top, it's not as apparent, but if you zoom in, you will see actually two more hidden robots at the back. Now one on the right, it seems to be the Lancelot Albion from the Code Geass series. And next to that, it's the Guren Seiten Hakyokshiki. Now this is going to be interesting because both of the machines is one I love, and you would realize that on the YouTube banner that I have, I've already purchased the one that they released for the Metal Robot Tamashii. Although the Robot Tamashii one, I've actually never done a review on it because personally I think they are not done too well because the joints are very tight and movement wise they're just not really done well overall. So it's going to be interesting that they're going to pull that up on the scale to the metal build size and releasing that. So these two machines I'm definitely going to get because I just love these two machines so much, and hopefully they're going to release with the plasma wing as well and not separate it into an option set just like the Freedom and Destiny. Hopefully they won't do that, but given it's Bandai, who knows what they're gonna do. And that's it with today's video. There's a lot of information to cover on the Tamashii Nation 2020 on just the metal build itself, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and find it useful. Not only that, but if you guys like this kind of series where I give you updates on upcoming metal build series, do let me know in comments. I might continue with that series. And even if you don't like it, let me know. Then I might scrap that as a whole and just focus on reviews and comparison. Let me know in comments what you think, and do support me by hitting that like button and also subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.